Hi, this is MTV214. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Thanks, subscribers, new and old. If you haven't subscribed, join the fam and subscribe. This is a short story review with Halloween time. This is HP Lovecraft, and he wrote a lot of stories that have horror, fantasy, sci-fi, ancient alien sort of relating, and other things of that nature. It's also, I would say, it's sort of like detective, because he's searching out the answers to different mysteries. So it has a few different themes to it, a few different genres it could be. So this was called The Shadow over Innsmouth. It took about 2 days to read. It's about 60 pages long. I finished it tonight. So it's a story about this young man. He's going to college. It takes place the early 1900s, about 1920s, and so about 100 years ago, literally, that he's going to college, and that he has a break, and he's going on this trip. He's going to one certain place, but he has to travel, take a train, bus, what have you, to get there. And there's this town Innsmouth, and that's on the way, and it's affordable to take the bus and have to go through there. And he's told bad things about oh, the people are strange there. It's a sort of poor town falling apart. And that's strange about that place, the strange people there. There's only one hotel there, and people that went there had bad experiences. So he said warned not to go there. And another part about this is on the way, he stops by some at a museum or something, a historical society, and sees some strange necklace, and is curious about that. It's some sort of strange gold that's not regular 24 karat gold, with an unusual design, some sort of fish sort of creature on it. That's why creature from the Black Lagoon. But so then he goes, and he's gonna take the bus, early bus, be in that town during the daytime, walk around it, and then in the evening take the bus to leave, to go on his merry way. And so he's in the town. It's pretty deserted. A lot of the people look pretty strange. There's one young guy that works at a grocery store, supermarket, that is normal, and that, I guess probably a teenager, young adult, is from another town and was transferred to this town's store. So he didn't want to lose his job, so just keeps working there, even though the town is weird. And the people there look sort of strange. Their eyes are really big and wide and don't close, blinking normally. The faces are sort of flat, and other strange things. But so they have some sort of disease, he thinks, that's in that town. And then he hears weird things about with the ship's captain there from the past, and different things like that. And he hears of there's some town drunk there that says about the town, if you give him some alcohol, and then he'll go speak to you about it. So he sees some weird things for himself, and then he meets this man and hears even more strange stories about it, about the place. And that there's some sort of fish, frog-like creatures that are underwater, and there's a reef out away from shore. So a ship's captain went there and sort of made a deal with someone from the island in the area, native island, Easter Island, something like that, and would traded different things for this sort of strange gold jewelry, and as well as to do some sort of religious rite, and that you get a big catch of fish, because the town was poor. And then so it sort of helps the town stay alive, that they have other places they go fishing, they don't get any catch of fish, that these people, they go fishing out to sea, and they catch a lot of fish to help the town continue, as well as they have this strange gold, and they don't share the gold in that normal form with other places. They melt it down to make money with that way. But some of them they even like the religions there are sort of like twisted to be of this like sort of like cultish religion, and supposedly that there's these like fish frog beings that live underwater by that reef, and that like use that gold and that with like the designs on it and do some sort of like prayers to their god, and then you will get a catch of fish, a good catch of fish and stuff. And like the captain does that, and then over time that the town people like diminish. It's mostly abandoned town, but some people live there, and a lot of them have this like strange Innsmouth look, which is why I have that there. That like their faces, they have sort of narrow head, a flattish face, and like big bulging eyes, sort of like fish eyes. And over time, like their skin becomes like a grayish green, and he actually thinks he sees. Well, like he has to stay at that hotel because that supposedly that the bus that he went to be there just for the day has engine trouble, so he's staying at the only hotel there. He's sort of scared about it. He gets something to eat, which is basically like canned prepared food, so he's not worried about the food, and has like a bowl of soup. Then he goes to his hotel room, which is on the third or fourth floor, and it's sort of like out of the way. It smells very musty in there, and like the town has a very like fishy odor, which is sort of unattractive as well. But he doesn't really have a choice. He tries to stay up there. He sees like a deadbolt on the door, but it's like missing, so he takes the deadbolt from another door, like the door. So there's the door to the hallway, and there's connecting doors on each side with the other hotel rooms. So he takes one, he puts it over there, and then he puts like the dresser and other furniture against the doors to like keep himself locked in. And somebody tries to get in and from the hallway door, and he smells that fishy smell, but they can't get in because the door is like deadbolt. And then they try from the other side and leave, then the other side and leave, and then he's like, I gotta get out of here, like they're coming to get me. He looks out the window, and like it's like on the third or fourth floor. He's like straight down, but he looks left and right, and a few rooms down that there's like roofs close by, so like hop out the window and jump on the roof. So he goes for his escape. He can hear them like going after them, and they have sort of like making like a ribbit sound, sort of like a frog. And he's going to escape from them. Scared, he jumps off the roof. Then he's inside of a building, and then he's like traveling through the town. It's like the dead of night, like 2 a.m, and sees from a distance some of these like frog fish like beings there, and one of them is like at a church, like a basement door to a church, that it's in robes, so it's sort of like a twisted of religion to be this sort of like Cthulhu, like his different stories, religion of like some underwater creature god that these like fish sort of beings worship. And he sees them for a distance. He walks in like the stooped manner that the people walk, that they walk like sort of like stooped over, and or some of them sort of hop like a frog. So he does that, and like they didn't know it was him, but he goes to leave that place. He's like thinking which way the guy at the grocery store gave him drew out a rough map for him of like about the town, and he sees his way out and going to leave, and then he's out in like the wilderness there hiding. He sees these creature beings, and like gets sort of nervous from a distance. He passes out, then he wakes up. It's like the next day about noon. And then he's like he continues on his journey. His clothes get roughed up. He had lost his hat, his bag, his like suitcase. His clothes are ripped and torn. And then he goes to the police. I'm pretty sure in Boston, Massachusetts. And then he's like tells the reports. And sometimes they go, and he's going to continuing his education. And then he starts to also look into his own family history, and he sees that he had some great grandmother that's sort of strange, and like she sort of appears out of nowhere, and there's no like wreckage for her. sort of like looking like, like what is with this? And then thinks that it's what he sort of heard before, that like these fish beings sort of hybridize with the human beings there, and that over time the human being that are hybridized, that with like, you know, having children with them, that they would turn into like these sort of fish frog creatures and have to go undersea. And he's like, oh, am I like, that's one of my ancestors, I'm related to them. And like he remembers an uncle and a grandmother, or like great, that look sort of like, had that Innsmouth weird look to them. And then his cousin was like put away in like an asylum because had that, was getting to have that look. And then he starts to have that look, and then he's like planning, oh, I'm gonna go rescue my cousin from the asylum and go to Innsmouth and jump into the water and like, you know, swim that underwater city where like supposedly everyone lives forever and only could like die in like a violent form. So it's sort of like reminded me of sort of like ancient aliens in a way, like hybridization and the creature from the Black Lagoon, and it's like, you know, sci-fi horror. So it's interesting to see, to read this. I could definitely see this made into a show or a movie. You can probably find this story, The Shadow over Innsmouth, like on YouTube, even like a audio version of it, or like there might be a movie or show version. I'm on the lookout for that myself. But definitely had like Creature from the Black Lagoon vibes to it, that like people are turning into that sort of thing. So definitely cool. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, like, share. See you in the next video. We got movie reviews, book reviews, figure reviews, accessory set reviews, and all that like Halloween related stuff. Thanks for watching. Take care.